I'm telling you guys this. I feel like I'm giving you all of my secrets right now. When I started learning bass, chords were kind of taboo for me until I saw players like this. Then like this. Even though the main function of playing bass isn't necessarily playing chords, they are extremely important when trying to spice up your bass lines. So today we're going to be taking a look at bass chords from a beginner's point of view all the way to a pro level. Now I've created chapter markers throughout this video so you can skip around if you already know some of these things about bass chords, but if you don't, definitely watch the entire video. So what are chords? Chords are just a combination of two or more notes played simultaneously together to create harmony. So that means 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes played at the same time. Can I play 4 notes with it? Now, this is not a chord that I would definitely use, and it's not one that we're gonna go over, but that's a chord. So the first thing we wanna learn about with bass, is how can we use chords to not take away from bass lines. We wanna learn what types of chords are best played on the bass. And we're gonna start off really small. This is one that I don't feel like many people talk about, but they're what we call dyads. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard about triads before, which we'll talk about those later, but what dyads are basically 2-note chords. These type of chords are so great when learning how to play bass or just using them on bass because they're small and very, very effective. Now, when we use chords on bass, we don't want to treat it like a guitar where you're playing like, like big, really huge chords all the time. But is learning how to find the tasty little aspects of those chords and emphasizing those when we're playing. So now some of the most common dyads you're going to learn are what we call major thirds and minor thirds. So all a major third is where, let's say we're the key of G. All we're gonna do is play the first note, which is the 1, or the root, and we're going to play the 3rd note, okay? So if we play these together, we got a chord, okay? Doesn't sound that great, right? It's like, oh, that's muddy. So what we do when we use it on bass is we take that 3rd up an octave. So all we're gonna do is just gonna go up 2 frets, down 2 strings, and you have the octave. So now we have this really cool chord when you play them together. Oh, that's a lot better. Because it's like actually pleasing now. It's not really muddy, okay? So that is what we call a major third. Now, when you're learning major and minor chords, usually when it comes to playing triads, you have a 1, 3, 5, which makes a major chord. And you have a 1 flat 3, 5, which makes a minor chord. Now, when we use this on dyads, we're not adding that 5th note in there. So all we have is these. So these 2 notes, root and 3rd. So to make it a minor third, what we do, we're just gonna take down this 3, major 3, down to a minor 3, which is taking it down a half step or 1 fret down. So major, minor, major, minor. You see how I'm doing this with my middle finger and pinky? This is just how I learned it at the beginning, but you could do it with your index and middle if you want to do it like that, if it's easier, or index and ring, if that's easier. So now that we know these 2 basic dyads, just play around with them. Get used to the shape, That was all major and minor thirds. It sounds really great, doesn't it? It's like, I think it's such a cool way of using chords. And these are so usable because people use this, like this, where you're playing like softer things. And you can even use it in slap, like. So it's a lot of fun and a lot of different use cases for these. But this is not all of them. These are just the very basic ones. The next one you need to know is the Dominat 7. I don't know if you've ever heard of a Dominat 7 chord, but whenever you hear somebody playing something kind of funky, that little sound right there, that is a dominant chord. All right. Most times you would play this over, 3 different notes, but when you use it as a dyad, basically all you're going to do is just not play your root note. So if I'm playing like something like this kind of dominant, if I add a little, that actually gives a little flavor, gives it a little bit more of a cool vibe. And so all I'm doing is I'm just playing this Dominat 7 chord, which is 1, flat 7 or minor 7, and a major 3. So if you want to think about this from the major third that we just learned, all we're doing is adding this flat 7 to it right here. So you get this. Okay, so now we're not at 3-note chords quite yet. So what we're going to do is just take off that root and just play these two, the flat 7 and the major 3. So this is our dyad right here. Sounds great when you play it up the octave. Now, you probably saw me sliding into it, which we'll talk about articulation a little bit later. But a lot of times what I like to do is slide into them if ever I'm using them. And really what's interesting is that when you play it here, it actually still works with it, But it's just not super dominant. It's kind of like a weird kind of minorish dominant. But really what it is what we call a minor 6 triad sound, okay? When we have it here, it's a minor 6. When we have it here, it's Dominat 7. So this is a G minor 6 to a G Dominat 7. Now, for my beginners, I hope you're not getting, freaked out by all the jargon or anything, but I just want to make sure you guys know that before we move on. Now, the last couple of shapes you need to know as far as dyads go are minor and major 7 shapes. I know it's weird. It's like, how do you make a minor or major 7 with just 2 notes? I'll show you. It's actually really cool. So let's say we're in a key of G. You don't necessarily have to have all of those colors to get that minor 7 feel or major 7 feel. So for my major 7, it's just a straight 7 and the root. See? Kind of has like that 7 feel, but it's not the full chord. Now, minor 7, literally just take down your 7 1 fret, and that's your flat 7 or minor 7. Major 7, minor 7. Let me take it up an octave so it sounds better. Major 7, minor 7. Really what it's supposed to do is hint at that major and minor 7, not supposed to be the full chord, because you're not really catching a really strong major, tonality. You're really just getting a little bit of that major 7 tonality than just like that major 3 and stuff. But we're not gonna get too deep in that. Now, the last part of this is how do you play these dyads? And I'm going to go over this with triads too, with open strings. For example, if I played a chord like this, which is that minor dyad, that feels like it hits me a little bit more than if I just played it like this. You know what I'm saying? If I'm playing a groove, that hits me more. Let me do it again. That's the reason why identifying what open strings you have to use is so important. So what I like to do is I like to think, okay, I've got my E string, A string, D string, and G string. So these are all of my potential open, chords I can do, or open root notes. So what I like to do is I like to, whenever I'm playing something, it's like, okay, do I have any notes in this scale or in this key that has open strings? So for this G major scale, we have the G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. Okay, we've got D is the open string, G is the 1, A is the 2, and E is the 6. So we really could use just about any one of these strings to make a chord. What's so cool about this is now that, okay, I could think about, I want to create something with the G, the 1. Okay, how do I do that? So let's say I wanted to do a minor 7 or major 7 to go with it. So like, there's a 7. I could play that G string open there and get like a cool sound. I probably wouldn't use it like that context. Usually I like to have whatever the note be lower, if it's the root, to be lower, and then the color to be higher, because it makes that color stand out more. So when you do it like this, it's kind of hard for it to stand out, and that G open doesn't sound that great. But theory-wise, it makes sense. You just identify the open string and then you connect a color to it so it makes it sound cooler. Really quick before we get back into the video, I've been looking at my analytics here recently, and over 70% of you guys who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you enjoy my videos, please consider pressing that subscribe button below. Now, all triads are 3-note chords. 3-note chords are basically just building on top of these dyads that we just went over. So we did our major dyad, okay? All we're gonna do is add the 5th to it now, okay? Which is right here, the 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my 3rd is up here, so I get my 1, 3, 5 or 1, 5, 3. Same difference. It's a major chord, G major chord. All this does is makes the chord feel a little bit bigger than just 2 notes, okay? It gives a little bit more depth to the chord. If I were to play this, I'll probably play this up here, okay? Which gives you that nice, full, and clear sound. Now, the reason why these are so much fun is because you have 2 ways that you can play triads: across 4 strings and across 3 strings. So when I just played it like this, the notes span across all 4 strings of the bass. Now, if I play this where it's over 3 strings, it's only gonna span across 3 strings on the bass. There's a little bit of a difference. I don't know if you can hear that. That's really muddy on the 3 string. Anytime you play chords on the bass, know that you can go across 3 strings, 4 strings, 5 strings, even 6 strings, depending on how many strings you have on your bass. But the most common ways that I've used it, even if I'm playing a 5 string, is 3 strings and 4 strings, which I'm gonna show you really quick. So a major triad going across 4 strings, it's gonna be like this. You're gonna put your finger on the 1, 5, and then your 3rd, your major 3 right there. So this is a G major triad, okay? Now to make it a minor, all we're gonna do is flat that 3rd 1 note down. So now we get this. See, my 5th didn't change. The 5th is the same for the major and the minor. Now let me show you how to do it across 3 strings. Now I'm gonna move up here to the G on the A string because it's just gonna sound better. So it's the same note. So I'm just gonna do it across 3 strings now. So I've got my root, which is the 1, which is the G. I got my 3, which is that B. And then I have the D, which is the 5. So you get this shape. So that's across 3 strings right there. Sounds better. You know, it's got a nice sound. This definitely has more of a deep sound, but this has a nice clear sound with all the notes kind of in the same vein or same clarity or tonality. So now to do a minor triad over 3 strings, we got our major, we got our 3 right here. We're just gonna take it down 1 fret, leave my 5 there, leave my root there. There we go, got a minor chord. Major, minor, major, minor. But this is literally how easy it is to build chords because you're starting from the bottom. Dyads are 2-note chords, and then you go to triads, which for a lot of people are the bottom, but I think for us bass players, we need to know dyads before we move to triads, because it's just like you're creating a foundation. So now it's good that you know your triads over 4 strings, triads over 3 strings, but to challenge you, and this is the way a pro would think about these, is that they know their triads like this in root position, you know. But what a pro would know is their inversions of this as well. I use these all the time. One of the most life-changing things is learning how to play chords and inversions. So if you don't know what inversions are, all inversions are a way of playing your chords, but just changing up where each of the notes are. So if I'm playing a G, B, and D, and that's my triad, and I get this, what our inversions are gonna tell me is that instead of having this G as the low note, let's change it to where we have this 3 on the low note, which would be the B. So you get this chord. It's the same notes, same tonality, but the only thing is that it has a little bit of a different voicing. And because that's what we're doing is learning how to voice it differently. It's the same chord, just voiced differently. So you got, this is the root position or root position of the G major triad. This is the first inversion of it. So all I'm doing is playing 3, 1, and 5. See, it's the same chord, same notes, B, G, and D, just in a different arrangement with a different voicing. It kind of gives it like a different sound. It's cool, right? And then if we're gonna go up to the next one, we got one more inversion, which is the 3rd note of the scale. So we got the 1, the 3, and we got the 5 right here. So this one over 4 strings is gonna be this. So we got our 5, 3, and 1. We get that chord. So that's the first inversion. Second inversion. It's really simple. It's really fun once you start to learn these. It gives you a lot of different ways of playing all your triads. So now we're gonna do the same thing with our minor chord over 4 strings. We're just gonna change our flat 3. Okay, we just changed our flat 3 down to our inversion, which is gonna be right here on the flat 3 instead of the major 3. It's gonna be that flat 3, the minor 3. So you're gonna get this. It's similar shapes to this. So that's the one for major, the first inversion. All we're doing is just moving this 3 down to a flat 3. And now we have our minor inversion. So we got root, first inversion, and then we got our 5th, which is gonna be like this. See, that's what it would be for major, 2nd inversion, but all we're doing is flattening that 3. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's very similar to the other one. Now, you want to be able to do this with 3 strings as well. It's even easier on 3 strings. So I'm going to take up, I'm going to change keys really quick so it's easier for you to see. I'm going to go to the key of D as in dog. So all I'm going to do is just play my major, my root position, D major, triad over 3 strings. All right. All I'm going to do is invert this to the first inversion. So instead of it being D, it's going to be the 3. So we're going to do this right here. And all this is 3, 5, 5, 1. Now our second inversion, we can look at the 5. We get this. All right. So the way you should practice these is definitely just going up, up and down each of them, change keys even, you know. And so on and so forth. You can practice these in a lot of different ways like that, but that's a great way to just get started in it. Now, to finish out the rest of some triad shapes you're gonna probably notice, and ones that you need to know are like the dominant 7. We talked about a little bit with the dyads. Let's say if I'm gonna go back to key of G. So the combination you want for the dominant 7 triad is you're gonna play the root, minor 7, or dominant 7, and the major 3. So you got this. That's how you get a dominant 7 chord in a triad. All right, so now let's look at the dominant 7 over 3 strings. We're just gonna play the 1, the 3, and the flat 7. It's the same thing, it's just over 3 strings. Pretty simple. So now let's take a look at the minor 7 over 4 strings. All we're gonna do is just like what we did with the dominant 7, we got our root, our minor 7 right here, which is the flat 7. Instead of playing that third, that major third, we're gonna take it down to the minor 3rd, which is just a half step below, or just 1 fret down, 1 note down. So you get this. It's very, very used chord right here. When you play it together, you have a minor 7 triad. Play it up here. So now the way, if you want to do this on 3 strings, all you're going to do is just you're going to play, this is my G right here, the root, flat 3, minor 7. Ooh, that's nice sounding. So now with major 7s, pretty much the same thing. Across 4 strings, it's going to be this right here, and it's just going to be root, major 7, with not that dominant 7, but major 7, and then the major 3 right there at the top. So you get this sound. Take it up. So pretty. So now to do this across 3 strings, go up here in my G. I'm just gonna play the 1, the major 3, and then the 7, major 7. So you get this shape. See, I love using this, going back and forth between major 7 and minor 7 is so cool. Now we're gonna look at a couple more that are ones that I use that I feel like you definitely should know. You got the minor 6, which this is one, if you've ever heard like some kind of like gospel musicians play like stuff like this. All they're doing is a minor 6 triad on bass, and it sounds super sick whenever you do it in the right context, okay? So all I'm doing is just playing a 1, the root, the minor 6, which is just that 6 straight, and then a flat 3. So you got 1, 6, flat 3. So you got this. And what they do is they play this and then they slide up a minor 3rd. So that's 1, 2, 3 notes. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now for my last shapes I'm going to show you, this is going to be some secret ones that I use all the time, which I can't believe I'm telling you guys this. I feel like I'm giving you all of my secrets right now, but I really want to help you guys. This is one that a lot of pros use that most people can't name. They just learned the shape because they heard somebody play it. But what it is a Sus2 chord. So I'm going to play it up here, my G up here. So it's going to be, all it is consists of is a 1, a 2, and a 5. but when you play it together, it sounds like this. This chord, I use it over a lot of major chords. So if I'm playing a G major or a C major, a lot of times I like to use it over my major type chords. Okay. I will say a key element to this that's like I use all the time. You are gonna know it. As soon as y'all hear me show you the shape, you're gonna be like, Travis, I've heard you play that before. So basically what it is a Sus2. And what I'm doing is this right here. Y'all probably heard me play this. Or bass players play this. Which is just a 1, a 5, and a 2. Which is a Sus2 just spread out like this. Now the last one is a Sus4, which is kind of very, very similar to Sus2. I use it a lot over the 5. So if you look at if I'm playing a 5th, it's pretty much like that inversion, like the inversion of a major chord, like that second inversion. But what you do is you just take this note down one whole step. So you get. Now, if you want the resources like the chart diagrams and also the drum loop that I play with, definitely go to my Patreon and sign up today. I give out all of my resources for my videos on my Patreon. Definitely go check it out. So now we have to answer the question, how to use these chords like a pro. Now, you want to know where the chord sits in the major scale, i.e. the number system, okay? Now, for my people who kind of already know the number system, what we're going to do is now that we've already know the notes of the number system, we need to know the chords associated with each of the notes. Now, if you watch any of my lessons before, you've probably heard me talk about this. So now if you want to know what chords are associated with each note of the major scale in the number system, there's a cool tool that I actually have shown people before and used with students, is this thing called a Chordii. Got this little wheel here where you can just move it to whatever key. So let's say we're in the key of G. Now this is telling me that G is major, A minor, B minor, C major, D is major, E is minor, and then 7, that little circle means diminished. And so this is really cool when it comes to just learning how to implement your number system. And also it actually gives you some different colors you can add to it right here, like Sus2, Sus4, which we talked about already, major 7, add 9, all this kind of stuff. And then what's cool on the back, it actually gives you the different types of chords here and a description of what they feel like. Like it says on here, major feels like home, calm, and steady. Okay, that's really nice. I've learned that over the years, but I didn't have anything like this. So if you're interested in this, I'll have this linked in the description below. Great company, great product, and I think it's only like $15 at the time of this video, so very, very worth your money. So now that we know our names for each of the notes in the major scale, we want to make sure we play our major scale up one string, the E string. So G, or the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and back to 1 way up here. So now what we're going to do now is start off with our dyads and just go up the scale. 1 is major, 2 is minor, 3 is minor, 4 is major, 5 is major, 6 is minor, 7 is diminished, but since we're only doing dyads, we'll use that minor works with it, the minor dyad, and then back to the 1. So now let's do this with major triads. Okay, we got major triad right here across 4 strings, minor triad, major, major, minor. We'll do minor for that one, and then major. So what you want to do is start doing this with all of your different chords that you have, major, minor 7, dominant 7, and so on and so forth, so you can see what chords go with which. So remember this, is that if, okay, let's say I'm playing the progression I was doing earlier. So I'm just playing a 1, 4, 5, 6, 4. Okay, so pretty much like a 1, 4, 6, 4. That 5 is kind of like a passing. You got major chords. So what is it? That's how I identify. Okay, 1 is major. So I could try out a major chord here, a major triad, or I could try out a major 7. Ooh, I could even try out one of those Sus4s, which that's kind of high or kind of low. Or I can start a Sus4 there, or a major 7 on across 3 strings. And then here on that minor, I could do a minor 7 across 3 strings, or I could just do a straight minor. You start to see where my mind starts to go when I'm trying to create chords and find chords to do. There's an open string there, that E string is open, so maybe I could do like this. Play E string with that minor 7 across 3 strings, or I could do it across 4 strings and play it up here. So this is how you start to develop and figure out, okay, what kind of chords can I add in whatever song or progression that I'm playing? So once we start to identify what is major and minor, then we can change up what type of chord we want to use. Like I was saying, you could play like a major 7 here, or just a straight triad, or dominant 7, depending on the vibe. But this is where your ear starts to come into play, and you're just like, what kind of chord are they actually playing there? How does this chord sound over this progression or what I'm doing? And so once you identify that, now you're building the harmony up. It's like, okay, you start off with the Dyads, which doesn't have that much, harmony. But then when you start adding those 7s, now you're starting to get in some harmony. You're like, ooh, that feels good, or that doesn't feel good, depending on what you're playing over. Then you can start to identify what colors you're going to emphasize. So if it's a minor 7, you may want to emphasize that minor 7. Which let me go to one that's in the key. That little minor 7 right there for E. You can be playing something. You see how that emphasized that note. Okay? Because I put it on the top and it's just really nice, it sticks out. So I'm going to show you a couple of different examples of me playing using different chords so you can get a sense of how it feels. One thing you probably notice me doing is the way I play them, I kind of give them a little finesse, okay? You want to make sure you give them some finesse. So like if I am playing like an open string chord, what I like to do a lot of times is I like to slide into the chord. If I'm going to slide into a minor chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the 2 notes before the target area, and I'm just going to slide and into it like that. So all I'm doing is I'm plucking with my index finger until it gets to that fret before, and then when it gets to that fret, I'll pluck with my middle finger and then slide up. So you get that. Now even when you play them just straight on, you don't ever want to just play like, now, if that's the vibe you're going for, yeah, that's one thing. But a lot of times I like to kind of give it some little finesse like this. And so all I'm doing right here is I'm playing. So I'm playing 2 frets before, hammer on to the root, and then I play and hammer on to that minor 7. So you see right there, I play that that C right there, and leave that note open right there, and then hammer onto it. So it's like 2 frets in the front note and 2 frets in the back note. So you got this. So I get that kind of vibe. So when I'm playing some, I just kind of give it some finesse, you know? I'm telling you, if you start getting into these, it really becomes so much fun. Now, I know this lesson was a lot, but just know I really want to give you guys something that you can chew on and be able to help you, because I get a lot of questions about chords and things like that when I travel. And so I wanted to give y'all something that takes you right from the beginning all the way through to what I actually use when I play chords. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below, and also let me know if there's any particular techniques or things that you want me to teach on here on my YouTube channel. Now, if any of you are interested in this Chordii that helps you learn the number system, I will have them linked in the description below so you can go and check it out. Great, great product, great people. It's not that expensive, so definitely go check it out in the description below. Now, if you want to support this channel, there's a couple of ways you can. You can go to my website, travisdykesmusic.com, where you can make a purchase to any of the products on there, and this channel will get a kickback to bring you more videos. And also, you can click on any of the affiliate links in the description below, to where if you click and make a purchase through any of those links, this channel gets kickback to bring you more videos. Now, if you guys like my Beginner to Pro series, you definitely got to check out this video right here.